Summary: The 4-Hour Workweek, Timoth Ferris. Book link. Click here. Here is a summary of the main points. The author made significant life changes in September/October 2008 after reading The 4-Hour Workweek. He brainstormed many ideas and started eliminating things from his life that bothered him or took up too much time. He outsourced many tasks like research, website maintenance, photo retouching, mailing list management, and more. This saved him many hours daily and allowed him to focus on things he enjoyed. His outsourcing efforts were successful and gave him more free time and less stress. He now works only 24 to 30 hours a week and spends more time with family. He eliminated extra work and complainers. He started a blog and music label and recorded an album. He took many retirements to New York, Sicily, and Central America. He learned new skills like shaving with a straight razor and becoming a certified coffee expert. He helped his wife quit her job and open a cafe. His productivity increased by 70%, and doubt decreased by 80% after implementing the principles in the 4-Hour Workweek. He achieved liberation by negotiating remote work and cutting his hours to 4 hours a week while increasing his salary. He now has time to pursue his passions for music, theater, fitness, and spending time with family. He created an online family photography business that sells digital files instead of prints. This allowed him to minimize costs and maximize income and free time. He took mini retirement skiing in Switzerland for under $1,000. He left for a month-long work vacation in Italy, planning to break much more than work. The key benefits for the author were gaining free time, less stress, the ability to pursue passions, more time with family, and the excitement of mini retirements and travel. Implementing the principles of the 4-Hour Workweek and outsourcing/automating tasks were crucial to his success. Here's a summary. The author addresses parents' common fears about taking their children on extended international trips, including losing a child or losing patience with them. However, the author argues that these fears are often unfounded or can be managed with proper planning and precautions. Some tips for managing fears and ensuring a good experience include: do a trial run by taking a shorter international trip first. This helps acclimate you and your kids to traveling together. Make emergency plans, like ensuring you have local contacts in each country and that kids know essential information like hotel addresses, phone numbers, etc. Use bribery or rewards to encourage good behavior. For example, give kids virtual money they can earn or lose by listening and following rules. They can then spend it on souvenirs or treats. Cut down on clutter and excess belongings before the trip. Extended travel is an excellent opportunity to minimize belongings and avoid overpacking. Get rid of unused or unneeded items from your home to simplify. Buy airfare in advance when possible, at least 3 months ahead, or look for last-minute deals. Aim for midweek flights. Consider flying into international hubs and then using budget airlines for regional trips. These strategies can save up to 50 to 80% on airfare. Remember that many fears about international travel and specific destinations are unfounded. Research to determine if warnings about locations are perception or reality. Many places are less dangerous than large U.S. cities. With the right mindset and preparation, multi-month international trips with children can be enriching. The key is managing fears and clutter that could otherwise make the experience stressful or burdensome. Here's a summary. The company manufactures mountain bikes in 3 or 4 plants in China and sells them in 30 countries, generating $15.3 billion in annual revenue. Outsourced call centers handle customer service for different companies. The goal is to create an automated business that generates cash with little time. This muse must cost less than $500 to test, be automatable within 4 weeks, and require less than 1 day per week of management. The example of Sarah shows why you need to plan appropriately. She spent $12,000 developing a stroller but couldn't sell any. She then sold humorous t-shirts but made little profit after selling to stores at a discount and competing with other stores. Her sales dropped off. Ed Bird, on the other hand, properly tested demand for his sports supplement NO2 before manufacturing it. He sold it at a high price through exclusive distribution through GNC stores. This allowed him to make good profits and avoid price competition from other resellers. To develop a triumphant muse, pick an affordable niche market, find a specific target market and develop a product for them, rather than creating a product and finding customers. The market should be narrow enough to reach your customers affordably and charge premium prices without too much competition. Start tiny but think big, target a small but substantial niche market. It's easier to dominate a small market. If your target customer is narrow enough, reaching them and competing is easier. Determine if the niche is big enough by estimating potential sales and profits to see if it meets your needs. For example, see if magazines or trade shows in that niche have strong attendance/readership. The key is finding a specialized, targeted market and developing a product specifically for them. Start small with a defined niche rather than trying to sell to substantial general markets. Properly test demand and profit potential before investing too much in product manufacturing. Here's a summary. The key points are: private labeling products at Costco can be very profitable because of the high volume and markup potential. However, manufacturing the products requires a significant upfront investment. Information products are ideal for private labeling because they have a low production cost and fast lead times, and competitors have difficulty duplicating them. Examples of successful infomercial information products include real estate, psychology, and self-help courses. These products can have markups of 20-50x and generate millions in revenue. You don't need to be the foremost expert on a topic to create an information product. You need to know more than your target customers. You only need to convince a small percentage of potential customers, called your minimal customer base, of your expertise. There are 3 ways to obtain content for an information product. Create the content yourself by researching the topic, repurpose public domain content, license or hire an expert to help develop content. To establish yourself as an expert quickly, you can join 2 to 3 relevant trade organizations, read the top 3 books on your topic and summarize them, offer free seminars at universities and big companies and record them, write articles for trade publications citing your achievements, join ProfNet to connect journalists with experts to quote with the proper positioning and credibility indicators. You can establish expert status in 4 weeks without deceiving anyone. Expert means you know more than your target customers. The PX method refers to a set of principles and tools Tim Ferriss developed to assess the viability of business ideas quickly. PX stands for Product X, the product or service being evaluated. The core principles of the PX method are: focus on what people want rather than what you want to build. Identify a need or passion in a niche market. Aim for a minimum viable product. Build the most straightforward product that will satisfy early customers and provide feedback for improvement. Make an offer. Create a basic sales page for the product to test demand and pricing. Use Google AdWords to drive traffic to the page. Analyze critical metrics. Track visitor and sales data to determine if the idea is worth pursuing. Look at click-through rates, cost per click, conversion rates, average cart value, etc. Make iterative improvements. Use feedback and data to improve the product, marketing messages, and conversion rates. Repeat the process. The PX method uses low-cost tools to build essential online businesses in a short time. The goal is to validate or invalidate ideas without investing heavily upfront. The project proceeds if the metrics look good and there is a clear path to scalability and profitability. If not, the idea is dropped, and a new one is tested. This approach allows Tim Ferriss and his team to experiment with many concepts and quickly focus their efforts on the most promising opportunities. The PX method is detailed in the 4-Hour Workweek. Tim provides many examples of businesses developed using this method on his blog at 4hourworkweek.com. Here's a summary of the blog post. The author took 3 weeks off for a mini retirement and travel. Upon returning, he found many unpleasant surprises in his email inbox that he had to deal with. However, he purposely chooses to let bad things happen to focus on more significant priorities. The bad things that happened while he was away included: one of his fulfillment companies shut down, causing a loss of orders and work; missing media appearances and upsetting interviewers; losing many joint venture opportunities. He does not go out of his way to upset others but recognizes that you sometimes have to ignore small bad things to achieve big things. The benefits he gained from temporarily ignoring issues included: following a dream of attending the Rugby World Cup and watching his favorite team live; doing target practice with guns he's always wanted to fire; filming a TV show pilot in Japan has been a lifelong dream; meeting with his Japanese publisher and doing media interviews since his book is now a bestseller; taking a 10-day break from all media and technology, which felt like a 2-year vacation; attending the Tokyo International Film Festival and meeting one of his heroes. The critical point is that you gain more freedom and liberation once you realize you can ignore things without negative consequences. The summary covers the main highlights and takeaways from the blog post on the merits of letting small bad things happen to focus on more significant priorities and achieve meaningful goals and experiences. The author's specific examples of what he gained and lost during his time off provide a good context for understanding his argument. Let me know if you want me to clarify or expand on any summary part. Here's a summary of the key points. Douglas Price has designed an automated lifestyle that allows him to travel frequently and pursue his interests. He co-founded a startup called Last Bamboo and works as a sound curator in addition to releasing his music. Price worked at an internet startup 2 years ago but wanted to simplify his life. He launched ProSoundEffects.com, a website that sells sound libraries and audio samples, in 2005. ProSoundEffects.com is designed to generate cash with little time investment. Price handles the billing and customer service but has manufacturers drop ship the products directly to customers. He keeps most of the profit from each sale. Price spends less than 2 hours weekly on the business but pulls in over $10,000 monthly profit. The company has removed his financial worries and allows him to focus on music, travel, and other interests. There are many ways to make money, but Price's business model is ideal for owning a hands-free company. Most successful companies outsource manufacturing, customer service, shipping, and other functions to third parties. The key is to find ways to generate cash that requires little time investment, freeing you up to pursue your passions. Price's story shows what is possible with the right muse. Does this summary accurately reflect the passage's key details and main takeaways? Let me know if you want me to clarify or expand on any summary part. Here's a summary. The key points are: time without attention is worthless. Pay attention to what matters. Let small bad things happen to focus on big important things. Read Zorba the Greek and Seneca, Letters from a Stoic. They offer practical life philosophies. Don't accept big favors from strangers. It creates karmic debt. Repay or return the favor immediately. You don't have to make up losses as you incurred them. Find other ways to recover. Don't stress about impressing people you don't like or respect. Focus on people you want to emulate. Have long, slow meals with people you enjoy. It leads to happiness and well-being. Don't worry about critics. Focus on people who understand you. You are never as bad or as good as people say. Stay grounded. Eat a high-protein breakfast and go for a walk. It's better for you than medication. We dislike losing money far more than we like making it. Be very careful about public stock investments where you have little control. Ask yourself if challenges represent a breakdown or a breakthrough. Look for opportunities even in difficult times. Practice living with less to build resilience and think bigger. Give away excess belongings. Usually better to stick to old resolutions than make new ones. Build on past progress. For minimalist travel packing, buy things at your destination as needed. Only bring essential lightweight items you can easily purchase there. Make do or borrow when possible. Checked bags are a hassle. That covers the main highlights of the essay. Let me know if you want me to explain anything in the summary. Here's a summary. Forget about time management in the traditional sense. The goal should be to fill only some of the second with work to appear busy. Being busy is often used as an excuse to avoid high-impact but uncomfortable actions. There are many ways to appear busy without being productive, like doing meaningless tasks or being distracted by technology. In most companies, huge ones, appearing busy is rewarded more than actually being productive. Simply walking around quickly with a phone to your ear and papers in your hand can give the impression you are busy and productive. The key to productivity is to focus on less by eliminating and minimizing. The happiest and most successful people have underestimated and stopped the unimportant in their lives to focus on the few critical priorities. Perfection is achieved when nothing is left to remove, not when nothing is left to add. Focus on simplification and minimalism. Do not do with more what can be done with less. Occam's razor is a principle that removes unnecessary complexity by shaving away excess assumptions and redundancies. Apply this concept to your life and business. Italians have a concept called il dolce far niente, which is the sweetness of doing nothing and relaxing. Productivity comes from resting, not constant activity. Take time to recharge and do minimal. Ask yourself, if this is the only thing I accomplish today, will I be satisfied with my day? Do only the tasks that satisfy that question and minimize everything else. Be ruthless in your elimination. The overall theme is that productivity and success come from minimization, eliminating excess, and focusing on essential priorities rather than constant busyness or time management. Rest and recharge are also as important as continuous work. Apply minimalism and simplicity to become more productive and achieve your dreams. Here's a summary. The author hired virtual assistants from India and other countries to help with tasks like handling emails, research, scheduling interviews, etc. He found it efficient but strange to have people working for him while sleeping. His assistants, Hani and Asha, were polite in their communication. The author decided to test the assistants with personal tasks like arguments with his wife. However, the assistants were too lovely and softened the messages, angering the author. The author then decided to outsource his worries and stress to his assistants. He asked Hani to worry about a business deal for him so that he could relax. This experiment was successful. The author envisions a future where most tasks are automated and outsourced. He gave an example of how his day would look: checking emails handled by assistants, fulfillment accounted for, taxes paid, etc. The author recommends getting a remote personal assistant to learn how to give orders and manage remotely. It teaches entrepreneurial skills in a low-risk, low-cost way. Outsourcing tasks, even if they can be done more cheaply by oneself, frees up one's time to focus on essential things. The cost savings and time benefits outweigh doing it oneself. However, the author warns about the potential dangers of irresponsible delegation, like enabling the abuse of power, reduced innovation, and overdependence on technology. Responsible board and management are essential. Here is a summary of bound and outbound programs. Bound programs focus on speed, performance, and quality customer experience. Integrate the internet and the latest technologies. Respond promptly to customers. Meet the priorities like performance, speed, internet integration, and quality customer experience. Outbound programs initiate contact with customers or potential customers. Use various media like phone calls, email, social media, etc., to reach customers. Aim to generate new sales or upsell additional products to existing customers. Often use call centers and sales teams to make outbound contacts. Help convert sales from different offers like complex offers, soft offers, or multiple offers. Leverage home-based agents and call centers focused on outbound calls. Use services of call centers and companies specialized in outbound calls and credit card processing. Outsource to marketing and research firms specialized in areas like pay-per-click campaign management. In summary, bound programs are focused on handling incoming customer contacts and providing prompt responses and good experiences. On the other hand, outbound programs initiate contact with customers and aim to generate new sales. Companies focused on bound or outbound programs can be good options if you want to outsource some marketing and sales functions. Performance, speed, internet integration, and customer experience are priorities for bound programs. Here is a summary. Most entrepreneurs start by doing everything themselves to save costs but must transition to a scalable model. To achieve time freedom and scale, minimize your decision-making role. Upgrade infrastructure in phases based on units sold. Phase I, 0 to 50 units, do everything yourself. Answer calls and emails to determine FAQs and training materials. Clarify ads and website as needed. Phase II, 50 to 200 units, hire a call center to handle orders and fundamental questions. Develop FAQ and training materials from Phase I. Handle product shipping yourself. Phase III, 200 to 500 units, add a fulfillment company to handle shipping. Reduce call center hours as website FAQ improves. Check reports from the call center and fulfillment company weekly. Phase IV, 500 plus units, minimize oversight. Check reports from outsourcers monthly and handle exceptions. Make yourself unnecessary in the flow of daily operations. The key is replacing yourself with standardized systems and pre-trained outsourcers. Remove yourself from the information flow and decision-making as much as possible through a limited weekly review of reports. The result should be a virtual architecture where you are a ghost in the machine. Here's a summary. The author gets over 1,000 emails daily but has outsourced checking and responding. He only spends 4 to 10 minutes per day on email. He has multiple email addresses for different types of contacts. His assistant handles his default email. 99% of emails fall into predetermined categories with standard responses. His assistant checks and clears his inbox twice per day. For the remaining 1% of essential emails, he has a short daily phone call with his assistant to provide direction. If busy, his assistant leaves action items in his voicemail. The author recommends using desktop email rather than web-based to avoid the temptation to check email. He had to overcome the assumption that only he could handle his email. The key is creating a documented process for how to evaluate and respond to emails. The author shares the rules document he made with his assistant. Tips include having the assistant handle scheduling, batching meetings/calls, batching the assistant on any emails the author handles, accepting that minor problems will happen, and focusing on the big things. The steps to outsourcing your inbox are: determine which accounts and how to handle them, find a virtual assistant, test candidates with a tight deadline, use a probationary period, and fill the void with something other than constantly checking email. An example of the type of rules to provide an assistant is shared. It covers passwords, team requirements, deadlines, calling versus emailing, and more. The key message is that checking and responding to emails can be a manageable time sink with the proper process and assistance. The author's tips and examples provide a good starting point for improving email efficiency. Here's a summary. The author contrasts two mindsets, that of the new rich, NR, and the deferrers, D. The deferrers delay gratification and save money for the future, hoping for a big payoff. The new rich design their lives to have autonomy and purpose, achieving payday daily through following their passions and using money as a tool to do so. The deferrers work to retire early and be financially independent, save money to buy things and be in control, make a lot of money for the sake of making money, want to accumulate more and more, delay happiness for a future payoff, IPO, retirement, etc. The new rich build automated income streams so they don't have to work, take mini retirements and do what excites them, use money as a means to do what they want to do, choose experiences over the material accumulation, think big but achieve a sense of payday each day by following their purpose. The author sees the new rich as having a healthier and more sustainable mindset. They use money as a tool to design an adventurous life with meaning, freedom, and strong relationships. The deferrers perpetually delay happiness for a future that may never come and often live with regret. The author argues for living with more purpose and less attachment to material gains. Here is a summary. The writer suggests going on an immediate 1-week media fast to realize that limiting information intake does not disrupt one's life. The rules for the fast are: no newspapers, magazines, audiobooks, or non-music radio, no news websites, no TV except for 1 hour of pleasure viewing in the evening, no reading except the current book, and 1 hour of fiction before bed, no web surfing at work unless necessary to complete a task. The key benefits of limiting information consumption are increased output, productivity, and creativity due to less distraction, ability to identify and ignore irrelevant and unimportant information, more time for massive action and work that generates results, inner peace from less overstimulation and distraction. The summary suggests, let's try a 1-week media fast, and then try something else if that doesn't work. In other words, experiment with limiting information consumption and change the approach based on your experience. The overall message is that limiting excess information and choosing to be selectively ignorant of irrelevant news can be very beneficial. Here's a summary. The author recommends taking mini retirements, relocating to another place for 1 to 6 months instead of short vacations. This allows one to slow down, examine one's life, develop new habits, and rediscover oneself. It provides emotional freedom and release from the stresses of everyday life. Financially, mini retirements can save money compared to a typical lifestyle. The author provides examples of living comfortably in Buenos Aires and Berlin for $1,500 to $1,200 per month, including housing, food, entertainment, and education expenses. This is often less than typical living expenses in the U.S. The author addresses common excuses for not taking extended travel. Home and family: you can still travel for extended periods. Health insurance: you can get travel insurance. Medical care is often cheap abroad. Safety: be cautious, but many places are not dangerous. Don't let fear stop you. Solo female travel: take standard safety precautions, but many women travel solo safely. The key is to overcome excuses, face your fears, and open yourself up to new life-changing experiences through many retirements and long-term travel. Here's a summary. Zubni is a free software program that provides features to improve productivity with Microsoft Outlook. The most relevant part is identifying hotspots, periods when you receive the most email from essential contacts. This allows you to check email less frequently while responding promptly to critical communications. Zubni also automatically populates your contacts with information like phone numbers and addresses from your inbox. To avoid checking email off hours, the author recommends using services like Jot. Allows you to capture thoughts, create to-dos and set reminders with a phone call. Jot then transcribes and emails the information or adds it to your Google Calendar. Copy Talk lets you dictate up to 4-minute messages and emails you the transcription. Good for brainstorming. Freedom disables internet access on your Apple computer for 1 to 8 hours to eliminate distractions. The only way to disable it early is to reboot your computer. For 2 days, the author recommends refusing all requests to get comfortable saying no, like a 2-year-old. Only do things that won't get you fired. Respond to requests with "I can't, I have too much to do right now." The author shares tips from readers for implementing a lifestyle with more free time. Use a P.O. box instead of home mail delivery to encourage batching mail. Most mail can be recycled without review. For families, a 4-hour workweek could mean time for an evening walk together or weekends together. Make plans for childcare and set rules for not disturbing parents in the evening. The payoff is more time together. Combine mini retirements with medical tourism to finance trips. Procedures often cost much less in other countries. Research reputable clinics that cater to medical tourists and expats. The author decides to outsource parts of his personal and work life to virtual assistants in India after reading The World is Flat. He hires Honey from Brickwork to help with research and tasks for Esquire. She provides organized research, and the author worries Americans may struggle to compete with efficient, polite, tech-savvy Indian workers. Asha from your man in India to handle personal errands like paying bills, online shopping, and more. She handles tasks promptly and efficiently. The author finds that outsourcing work and personal tasks to virtual assistants in India helps maximize his productivity and free time. The results from both assistants are highly organized, efficient, and prompt. He worries this trend may threaten some American jobs but sees the benefits of outsourcing low-end, repetitive tasks. Here is a summary of the search engine optimization tools. Google AdWords Keyword Tool. This free tool provides search volume data and alternative search terms to help select keywords with high search traffic. You can sort results by the search volume. Showbook Keyword Tool. This tool provides keyword search volume data powered by WordTracker. It helps find high traffic keywords. Domain Name Registrars. Websites like Domains in Seconds and GoDaddy allow you to register domain names for your website for a small fee, usually less than $20 per year. Website builders. Tools like Weebly and Waifu make it easy to build simple landing pages and lead capture forms for your website. They have free options and paid upgrades with more features. Google Analytics. Google's free analytics tool can track traffic, conversions, page abandonment, and other metrics on your website. This data helps optimize your pages and campaigns. Pay-per-click advertising, PPC ads, like those on Google Ads, formerly AdWords, allow you to pay to show ads to people searching for your keywords. You can test different ads, keywords, and landing pages to optimize your campaigns. Low-cost tests using small daily budgets, like $50 per day, can help determine potential before scaling up. Here's a summary. The author ate an enormous batch of soup as punishment for wasting ingredients and time. For 2 days, the author could only eat soup. The author couldn't even look at cheesecake, a previously favorite dessert, for 4 years afterward. This was a stupid, self-imposed suffering that could have been avoided. The author learned a lesson but questioned whether it was worth it. There are 2 types of mistakes. Mistakes of ambition result from acting with incomplete information. These should be encouraged because fortune favors the bold. Mistakes of sloth result from not acting despite having information. These turn learning experiences into terminal punishments. Many people suffer in jobs or relationships to avoid change, but the consequences don't improve. People should question their assumptions and avoid self-imposed suffering. There are always options. People have more power when they know their options. Exercises to help realize job changes are natural and transitions can be simple. Determine if you are more likely to find what you want in your current job or elsewhere. Figure out how to get finances under control if fired from the job today. Post your resume on major job sites to see options. Call recruiters. Email friends and contacts about opportunities. Imagine a company was just sued and went bankrupt. How would you survive? Tools and tips are provided for considering options, pulling the trigger, and resigning. Here is a summary. You'll need a payment processor like PayPal, Google Checkout, or Authorize.net to accept payments online. PayPal is the easiest to set up. Use a website builder like Yahoo Stores or eBay Stores to create an online store easily. Fees are typically a percentage of each transaction and a small monthly fee. Test different options before fully launching. Use PayPal or Google Checkout first, then move to Authorize.net for lower fees once successful. Use web analytics software like Google Analytics, Crazy Egg, or ClickTracks to see how people find and use your site. Helps optimize pages for conversions. Use A/B testing software like Google Website Optimizer, Offermatica, or Vertster to test different versions of pages and see which one converts the best. Get a toll-free number through Toll-Free Max or Call 8. Forwards to any number and provides call tracking. Check your competition's web traffic using Compete, Quantcast, or Alexa. Use 99 Designs or CrowdSpring to get a freelance design or programming help. Name your price and deadline, and get many options to choose from. Keep tools online so you can be back up and running quickly if anything happens to your laptop. Use Remember the Milk, FreshBooks, Highrise, Dropbox, TrueCrypt, Wiki, etc. Use Mechanical Turk for small outsourced jobs at a low cost. To launch a product quickly, set up a WordPress blog, apply a theme, add content, and a Buy Now button linking to an email capture page. See if you get sales before creating the actual product. Uses potential customers to finance creation. Adapt proven successful headlines/copy from competitors to your needs instead of reinventing the wheel. Keep examples of effective marketing that compels you to act. Include shipping in the initial price to get confirmed orders, not just price checks. It gives time to manufacture products before charging credit cards. For large email lists or scaling, use a dedicated email service provider like Aweber instead of tools meant more for testing. Spending more on PPC ads with targeted keywords will perform better than broad, expensive terms. The more spent, the more specific you need to be. Here's a summary. The author discusses overcoming ad-like tendencies when starting and running a business by defining concrete goals and dreamlining, which involves creating timelines for seemingly unrealistic dreams and identifying specific steps to achieve them. He shares an example of starting his own company, BrainQuicken LLC, in 2001 with the vague goal of making $1,000 a day through an automated source of income. However, he continued working as usual without specifying how this would happen, even after achieving the financial goal. He realized he needed to define the what I want alternate activities to avoid uncertainty and fill the void. The author suggests using a metaphorical fat man in a red BMW as a pattern interrupt to avoid settling for boredom and mediocrity. He and a friend would check in on each other periodically and ask, "Dude, are you turning into the bald fat man in the red BMW convertible?" to get their priorities back on track. To reignite your life or correct course, the author recommends streamlining, creating timelines for unrealistic dreams by defining concrete steps to achieve them. This involves shifting from ambiguous wants to defined steps, setting unrealistic goals to be effective, focusing on exciting activities rather than just material wants. The author shares advice for helping Princeton students connect with highly successful people. He challenges them to contact celebrities and CEOs to ask thought-provoking questions. He explains how to find personal contact information and start a genuine dialogue, emphasizing persistence in rejection. With the Tim Ferris technique, the students could reach people like George H.W. Bush, CEOs of major companies, and others ordinarily impossible to contact. The key takeaways are: define concrete steps for your dreams and goals. Set unrealistic expectations. Focus on experiences over material things. Embrace failure and persistence. Have courageous conversations about expanding your networks. Success is measured by the uncomfortable conversations you're willing to have. Here's a summary. Bill Gates once said that automation amplifies efficiency and inefficiency. So it would help if you eliminated inefficiencies before automating. The author advocates eliminating unimportant tasks and automating whatever is possible. Only delegate well-defined and essential tasks. Otherwise, you save time and money. The author gives examples of minimizing emails and meetings through elimination and automation. He suggests having fun with delegation, like asking virtual assistants to send prank calls or set up lunch dates with friends. The author suggests considering some eccentric tasks that Howard Hughes assigned to his assistants, like placing a cheeseburger in a tree at the same time daily or making assistants get girls to sign waivers before joining him. Venki from YME and Ritika from Brickwork give examples of tasks their companies can handle, like scheduling, research, document creation, and database management. Venki shares some interesting custom requests they have fulfilled, like making replicas of a client's favorite trousers or reminding a client to pay parking fines. Reader David Cross shares how he outsourced getting a healthy home-cooked Indian meals for under $5 a meal by hiring a freelance chef off Craigslist. The key takeaways are: eliminate and automate as much as possible before delegating to maximize efficiency. Only essential and efficient tasks waste time and money. Delegate only important and well-defined tasks. Have fun with delegating trivial tasks. Virtual assistants and freelancers allow outsourcing of all kinds of personal and professional work at a low cost. Here's a summary. UMA, no monthly fees, provides a local number connected to broadband. It can be used anywhere. VoIPbuster and Rebtel provide alias numbers that forward to overseas numbers. VoIPbuster also offers cheap calls to 20+ countries. Unlocked international cell phones allow you to use SIM cards in different countries and providers. Look for quad-band phones compatible with US and abroad. Satellite phones, for remote areas with no reception. Iridium has the most comprehensive coverage. Can rent or buy. Pocket solar panels, charge small electronics when there is no power source. Solio can charge a phone in 15 minutes, with adapters for most devices. Resources for working/living abroad, Verge Magazine Meetup.com, find people with similar interests abroad, become a travel writer, get paid to travel and write, teach English abroad. Many sites list jobs worldwide, instant message in other languages, use Google chatbots and translation sites, learn a new language quickly, use LiveMocha, EduFire, About.com, etc. and language addict techniques to become fluent in 3 to 6 months. It's normal to feel depressed after quitting your job or reaching a significant life goal. Excessing idle time and a lack of routine or purpose can lead to feelings of being unfulfilled, neurotic, and self-doubting. The solution is to fill the void with new challenges and projects to work toward. Start with small productive tasks each day to build momentum, and pursue new hobbies and skills to work toward longer-term goals. Here's a summary: live a new rich, NR, lifestyle by optimizing for freedom and purpose, not just salary or job prestige. Focus on controlling your time, location, and activities. This provides more life satisfaction than money alone. To achieve this NR lifestyle, reject assumptions and conventional rules. Think laterally to find options beyond the standard choices. Look for ways to achieve the lifestyle you want in a globalized and unrestricted manner. Have concrete lifestyle goals and take action to achieve them. Don't just save money indefinitely or chase arbitrary financial targets. Take mini retirements to recharge and gain new perspectives. Travel and expose yourself and your family to new experiences. Don't try to please everyone. Challenge popular notions and conventional wisdom. Look for contrarian truths and strategies to gain an edge. The most popular options are only sometimes the best options. Cultivate multiple income streams to have more control and flexibility. Don't solely rely on one job or one source of income. Explore ways to generate income through online businesses, investments, freelancing, consulting, and more. Build skills that enable location-independent payment. Continuously optimize and make life changes. Keep setting new goals and iterating as you learn and improve your situation. Lifestyle design is an ongoing process, not a one-and-done achievement. Stay adaptable to live life on your terms. According to the summary, that covers some of the main principles and strategies around lifestyle design and the new rich mindset. Let me know if you would like me to elaborate on any of the points. Here is a summary. Set up auto payment for regular bills like utilities to avoid chasing them while traveling. Provide credit card info or set up an automatic debit from checking. Set up higher than expected amounts for variable bills to cover fees and accrue credit. Cancel paper statements and bank notices. Get bank-issued credit cards for checking accounts for emergency overdraft protection. Give power of attorney to a trusted friend or family member to sign documents in your name. Have mail forwarded to someone who will email you summaries. Get necessary immunizations and check the CDC website. Some countries require proof of immunizations. Set up the trial of remote access software to ensure no issues. Have resellers either direct deposit, use a fulfillment house to handle checks, or have resellers pay via PayPal or mail checks to power of attorney. Provide deposit slips. Scan IDs, insurance, and credit cards, and email them to yourself. Provide copies to the family and take some with you. Change cell phone plan or set up voicemail messages about traveling. Set up an autoresponder for business email. Consider a quad-band phone, BlackBerry, or Skype in for contact. Reserve a hostel or hotel for 3 to 4 days to find an apartment. Book in advance only if necessary. Get foreign medical evacuation insurance based on location. It's redundant for first world countries where you can buy local insurance. Set a schedule for routine tasks like email to avoid excuses. Suggest Mondays for email and banking and first and third Mondays for credit cards and payments. Save important docs, including scans, to a handheld storage device. Put cars in storage, add fuel stabilizer, disconnect the battery, and put on jack stands. Cancel auto insurance except for theft. Upon arrival, take bus and bike tours of areas and potential apartments. Get an unlocked cell phone and SIM card. Email owners/brokers for viewings. Find/book an apartment for 1 month. Only commit to more once you've stayed there. Move in, get health insurance. Ask locals for recommendations. Eliminate extra stuff you brought after 1 week. Give away, mail home, or throw out. The summary provides an overview of the suggested steps to prepare for and embark on a mini retirement covering handling bills, planning the trip details, finding an apartment, setting up a way to stay in contact, insurance needs, and paring down belongings. The key steps are streamlining finances, delegating responsibilities to others, researching the location, being flexible and finding housing, and focusing on essentials. Here's a summary. Developing fluency in a foreign language can lead to lasting friendships and a chance to double your life experiences. However, overcoming language stage fright under the frustration of sounding like Tarzan at first requires diligent practice. Choose causes or vehicles for service that interest you rather than comparing them or succumbing to cause snobbery. Any act of service that improves lives or the world is worthwhile. Service is an attitude, not an outcome. To find fulfilling work or a new vocation, slow down and revisit ground zero by doing nothing. Reduce distractions and speed addiction through silence retreats or meditation. Make an anonymous donation to a service organization of your choosing. This helps associate the feeling of doing good with pure intentions rather than praise. Take a long-term mini-retirement to learn and serve through volunteering. This provides time to determine your passions and purposes. Journal about self-doubts to overcome them. Re-examine your dreams and life's purpose. Determine what makes you excited, accomplished, and able to contribute value to others. Test new part or full-time vocations based on steps 1 through 4. Having a career you care about differs from a job you merely work at. The key is taking time for introspection and following your interests and values to find fulfilling work. However, you define that. Continuously revisit your dreams and purpose to ensure you're progressing in a direction you care about. Here's a summary. Sherwood wants to take a 2-week trip to Berlin and is considering quitting his job. He needs to ensure the success of his side business and gain more freedom. Doug from ProSoundEffects.com followed these steps to grow his business from $0 to $10,000 per month. He chose a target market of music and TV producers since he had experience in that field. Identified and sourced popular products to resell from major manufacturers. Tested demand and pricing for the products by auctioning them on eBay. Launched a website to sell the products once he confirmed enough demand. He then streamlined operations to require only 2 hours per week. The comfort challenge involves negotiating lower prices at farmers markets or stores over 3 days. Start with a $100 budget and aim to get $150 worth of items for $100. Practice refusing initial offers and walking away. Then call magazines to negotiate ad prices as practice. Resources for starting a business include the PX method as an example sales page Weebly and WordPress for easy website creation Wufoo for creating checkout forms to test LegalZoom and corporate creations for business formation and trademarks eJunkie, Lulu, and ClickBank for selling digital products Google AdWords for pay-per-click advertising Keyword tools to check search volumes for terms Domain and hosting companies for a website iStock Photo and Getty Images for photos Aweber and MailChimp for email lists and autoresponders Shopify for an all-in-one e-commerce solution. Here's a summary. The author introduces the story by mentioning that Saturdays are his day off when he indulges in cupcakes. While eating his 10th to 12th cupcake at a party, he converses with another guest. When the guest asks him what he does for a living, the author finds it difficult to answer as his lifestyle seems implausible. The author appears to have a perfect life, happily married with kids and a successful career as a technology salesman. However, he can only spend a little time on work due to implementing the 80-20 principle and Parkinson's law. The 80-20 principle focuses on 20% of tasks that generate 80% of results. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time allocated for completion. By combining these two concepts, one can limit intake overload and distractions, identify critical tasks, and set aggressive deadlines to accomplish more in less time. The author was able to limit his work to 15 hours a week through identifying and focusing on his most profitable customers, firing the low-yielding and high-maintenance ones. This allowed his income to increase while decreasing work hours. Applying the 80-20 principle to his advertising in various business areas. He cut out 70% of his advertising costs while doubling his income. He also streamlined his online affiliates and partnerships, cutting his management time from 10 hours to 1 hour per week. Recognizing that being busy is often unproductive and that lack of priorities leads to a lack of time. He realized that the 9-to-5 schedule is arbitrary and that one only needs 8 hours daily to be productive or become a millionaire. One can achieve more in less time by setting deadlines and limiting tasks to the important ones. In summary, the author was able to gain more time and double his income by being highly selective and focusing on high-value tasks, firing or streamlining inefficiencies, and maintaining an intense focus through tight deadlines. The 80-20 principle and Parkinson's law were critical to his success and productivity. Here's a summary. The initial period of pursuing life's fantasies and dreams will be thrilling but unsustainable. Eventually, existential doubts and boredom will creep in as the newness fades. This is normal and experienced by all who pursue an unconventional path. The key is not to panic or beat yourself up. The doubts and frustrations stem from two sources: lack of social interaction and lack of purpose/meaning. The former workplace provided social interaction and relationships, however unfulfilling, that must now be replaced. Lacking a concrete goal or focus, the mind turns inward and constructs problems, amplifying doubts and anxieties. The solution to overcoming these challenges is twofold. Find a new ambitious goal or craft to pursue and build new social connections. The goal should be challenging and help you grow as a person. Merely eliminating the negative, work grind, is not enough. You must fill the void with purpose and meaning. As for life's big questions, like determining the meaning of life, the author argues they are best ignored. Most need to be more abstract or specific to provide actionable answers. For example, life's purpose depends entirely on how one defines meaning and life. Without clarification, such philosophical questions lead to unproductive rumination and distress. The key questions to ask of any big question are: 1. Have I defined each term unambiguously? 2. Will answering this question help improve anything? If the answer to both is no, forget it. For finding purpose and enjoyment in life, the author suggests continually learning and expanding your mind and serving others in some capacity. The particular vehicles for these will vary for each person and change over time, but making progress in both areas is critical to feeling good about yourself and enjoying life. Traveling to different locations can aid self-improvement by exposing you to new skills and ways of thinking. The constant exposure to novelty fosters faster learning and personal growth. In summary, the main message is that filling your life with meaning, purpose, and social connections is critical to overcoming doubts and thriving in a self-directed life. Asking philosophical questions that cannot be acted upon is unproductive and should be avoided. Continuous progress through learning and growth will help provide life satisfaction and enjoyment. Eliminating negative factors is not enough, you must replace them with purpose and meaning. Here's a summary of the message. The author is looking to hire a part-time personal chef. The position would be self-employed, with the chef responsible for their taxes. The pay would be an agreed-upon hourly rate plus the cost of groceries. The chef would prepare meals in their own kitchen, which the author would then collect, possibly to freeze for later. The author wants to work with the chef to develop menus and a schedule. They request details of the candidate's experience and sample dishes they could prepare. If interested, the author would have the chef prepare sample meals, which they would pay for. They would then determine if the arrangement works for both parties. Here's a summary of the key points. Set rules and systems to limit interruptions and availability. Use autoresponders, scripted voicemails, and limit phone/email access. Replace "How are you?" with "How can I help you?" Avoid meetings when possible. Have objectives ready if attending. Batch routine tasks to minimize setup costs and maximize time for meaningful work. Identify what can be routinized and done efficiently at the same time each day/week/month. Give employees autonomy with guidelines and review results periodically. This eliminates micromanagement and bottlenecking. If an employee asks for more independence with a trial period, have rules and objectives ready to propose. Tools to help: Evernote. Eliminate paper clutter and capture everything digitally to organize and search easily. Use to scan documents, take photos of notes/cards/receipts, save web pages, etc. Grand Central or email. Get a new phone number to give out and use features like screening calls, customizing voicemails, transcribing voicemails to text, setting do not disturb hours. Doodle or time driver. Allow others to schedule with you more efficiently without the back and forth of email. Let people see your availability and pick from open time slots. Zipme uses analytics to suggest the best times to batch process your email based on your unique email patterns and schedules. Provides productivity reports to help streamline your workflow. The key is to fight the tendency towards distraction and interruption. Develop systems and tools to limit availability when needed and batch routine tasks. Provide employees with more autonomy with guidance. Use technology tools to organize information, schedule efficiently, and gain insights into improving productivity. The time savings from reduced interruptions and administrative work will provide more opportunities to focus on essential milestones and goals. Here is a summary. Unnecessary information and tasks are public enemy number one and should be avoided during this 1 week. Replace time usually spent on the news or web surfing with connecting with loved ones or working on important tasks. Recommending avoiding excess information may seem hypocritical, but the information in this book is meant to be applied immediately. Only get news updates at lunch by asking someone already informed. Stop as soon as you realize the information won't impact your actions. Most news is forgotten quickly anyway. Use website blocking tools to limit time on distracting websites. Ask yourself if the information will be used for something immediate and vital. If not, don't consume it. Knowledge is only helpful if applied or remembered. Focus on just-in-time information rather than just in case. Develop the habit of not finishing things that are boring or unproductive. Starting something does not mean you have to finish it. Get phone numbers from attractive strangers to overcome the fear of asking. Toss the numbers if in a relationship. The goal is just overcoming discomfort. Interruptions come in 3 types: time wasters, time consumers, empowerment failures. Eliminate time wasters, streamline time consumers. and fix empowerment failures. Here's a summary of corporations. Corporations are companies or groups of people authorized to act as a single entity. Corporations can include both large companies as well as small businesses. Examples include Cliff Bar Incorporated, Anchor Stream Microbrewery, and Righteous Babe Records. The book argues that more giant corporations are not necessarily better and highlights many smaller companies as examples. Corporations allow a group of people to act as a single legal entity for business purposes. This provides benefits like limited liability, ease of ownership transfer, and indefinite lifespan. However, corporations are also often criticized as prioritizing profits over social goods. The summary discusses resources for learning about alternative travel and lifestyle design outside traditional corporate jobs. It mentions websites, books, case studies, and other valuable resources. The passage overviews corporations, argues that smaller companies can be better, and provides resources for designing an alternative lifestyle outside traditional corporate careers. Here are the key points. Do not accept unsolicited orders or requests for money from countries known for mail fraud and scams like Nigeria. Treat your good, paying customers well to build loyalty. Offer them value and make them feel like part of an exclusive club. Offer innovative guarantees and risk reversal to stand out. Build trust and boost sales. Examples include free trials, refunds if unsatisfied, and bonuses if the product doesn't work as promised. While risky, the increased sales and loyalty usually offset any losses from the offers if you have a solid product. To appear more established and gain access to more prominent clients or partners, make some simple changes to seem like a larger company. Use generic email addresses, get an 800 number with an automated menu, don't give out home addresses, and use titles like director instead of founder or CEO. Relaxing in public, like suddenly lying down on the floor of a crowded place for a few seconds before continuing, is a way to push your boundaries and show yourself that convention rules are arbitrary. Do small acts outside the norm to build your comfort with nonconformity. Some resources and companies can provide virtual receptionists, call centers, mailing fulfillment, DVD/CD duplication, and other services to make a small company appear more prominent. Look for ones with good reputations that provide real-time online reporting and accountability. Here's a summary. Move to respond to emails once per day as quickly as possible. Most issues that seem urgent need to be addressed. This will force people to reevaluate what is essential before contacting you and decrease meaningless interactions. Use 2 phone numbers, one for urgent matters and one for non-urgent. Let non-urgent calls go to voicemail and only check twice daily at set times, for example, 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. Record a voicemail greeting explaining this. Answer your cell phone for urgent matters but get straight to the point. Keep the caller from spending time with small talk. Politely reel them by saying you have little time and ask how to help. Learn to say no and avoid unnecessary meetings. Require people to email you an agenda before scheduling an appointment or call. Most of the time, issues can be resolved over email without a meeting. Keep any necessary arrangements to 30 minutes or less. Treat your workspace as a do not disturb zone. Wear headphones as a visual cue to others, even if you are not using them. This discourages drop-ins and casual visitors, which saves time. The overall goal is to train those around you to be efficient and respect your time. Be diplomatic but firm, and understand that some may be offended initially before adopting. However, increasing your productivity and effectiveness will benefit them in the long run. Here's a summary. The suggestions are for both employees in a job and entrepreneurs running a company. Some recommendations are specific to one or the other, but most apply to both. Pride and fear of being wrong often prevent people from quitting jobs that are not working. Defining when a project or assignment is no longer worthwhile is essential to save time. Most situations are simple, even if emotionally tricky. Quitting a job is often not permanent, and situations are usually reversible. There are options to pay bills temporarily, like reducing expenses, using savings, renting out, or selling assets. Health insurance and retirement accounts can be transferred. Gaps in a resume can be overcome by doing exciting work that stands out to employers. The cheesecake factor refers to learning from failures and mistakes. The author made an unsuccessful cheesecake but learned how to avoid similar mistakes in the future. Failing fast often leads to eventual success. The summary provides an overview of the key reasons, recommendations, and examples for why and how to quit a job that is not working out. The main messages are not to let pride, fear, or sunk costs prevent a change and to view failures and mistakes as learning opportunities. Here's a summary. The writer visited Cali, Colombia, for the first time 2 years ago and loved it so much that she bought an apartment there and now spends most of her time living and working from Cali. She has a full-time maid and cook, which costs less than $40 per week. She started her virtual law practice and then joined her old boss. Her U.S. phone number forwards to her wherever she is, and her mail is scanned so she can view it online. She has services that print and mail any letters she needs to send within the U.S. She recommends Earth-class mail for mail receipt and scanning, $20 to $30 per month. She also recommends postal methods for printing and mailing letters within the U.S., around $1 to mail a 4-page letter. She feels safer in Cali than in many places in San Francisco and recommends visiting Colombia, unlike its negative stereotypes. But she wants to keep it a secret. Another person read The 4-Hour Workweek in July 2008 before competing in her first Olympic distance triathlon. The book gave her creativity and optimism. She's launching a line of apparel called Orny Threads, providing modern bird designs to younger birders. There are 70 million birders in the U.S., and the market is growing. Another person used the ideas in The 4-Hour Workweek to work remotely from Europe for 5 months, making 3 times as much as he would have at his regular job. He set the expectation that he was always available via email but usually away from his desk. After 2 months, people only contacted him via email. The 9-hour time difference with Norway allowed him to have most of the day to explore but still connect with his boss for 20 to 30 minutes. After becoming licensed, a psychologist wanted to reward himself with a trip to South America. He saw how expats lived well there on retirement funds and pensions. He realized he needed to develop an income from the U.S. to fund living abroad. He uses VoIP and fast internet to run his business remotely. He left his 9-to-5 job to live between NYC and Colombia, managing contractors in both places. His stress is lower and his quality of life higher, though friends and family thought he was crazy. A family has lived as digital nomads traveling the world since 2006. They're greener, leaner, healthier, and happier. Though others first thought they were nuts, now many see them as intelligent and psychic. Problems finding a good school fit and wanting more time together led them to make the change and forecast the economic crash. They think more families will take many retirements and slow down, traveling more. Here is a summary of the selected text. The author recommends adopting a choice minimal lifestyle to increase productivity and life satisfaction while reducing stress and overwhelm. The fundamental principles of a choice minimal lifestyle include: set rules to automate decision-making whenever possible. For example, the author has rules for outsourcing email management to an assistant. Avoid deliberating before taking action. For example, don't check your inbox over the weekend if you can't address any work issues until Monday. Make quick decisions for unimportant or reversible choices. Set time limits, option limits, or spending thresholds to force an immediate favorite. The author chose a taxi over weighing multiple transport options to preserve his mental focus. Stick to a routine for productivity, allow variety only for recreation or enjoyment. For example, the author eats the same meals Monday to Friday but varies dinners and weekends. He follows a standard exercise routine but tries new recreational activities. Minimize complaining to avoid wasting mental energy on regretting past choices. The author recommends a 21-day no-complaint challenge. Focus on reducing deliberation time rather than the number of decisions. A high-performing executive makes many quick decisions, not a few highly deliberated ones. Reducing average decision cycle time by 40% can improve productivity and life satisfaction. View potential losses from quick decisions as an ideal lifestyle tax that enables greater enjoyment and output. Losses are often less than 10%, but gains can be more significant. The key is making quick, reversible choices for unimportant matters to preserve your mental focus for essential decisions and actions. Reducing deliberation and complaining is also critical for an optimal choice minimal lifestyle. Here is a summary. Identify groups of people who purchase the same types of products by analyzing the books you own, online and offline, subscriptions, online and offline, magazines, websites, and newsletters you regularly read of the groups identified. Determine which have their magazines. Search for additional niche magazines and bookstores and use Writer's Market. Select groups with magazines with a readership of at least 15,000 and advertising costs under $5,000 for a full-page ad. Call the magazines for advertising rates, readership numbers, and sample issues. Look for repeat advertisers selling products directly to consumers. For 2 selected markets, brainstorm products to sell to them without investing money. The products should have a main benefit that can be summarized in one sentence. Cost the customer $50, $200. Take 3 to 4 weeks or less to manufacture. Be fully explainable in an online FAQ. There are 3 options for finding products: Resell an existing product, buy at wholesale, around 40% off retail, and resell. Easy to set up but hard to sustain due to price competition. Best for secondary back-end or cross-sold products. Get a business license and tax ID if needed. Only purchase once the advertising response is tested. License a product. As the licensor, invent a product and license it to someone else to manufacture and sell, earning 3 to 10% of the wholesale price per unit. As the licensee, manufacture and sell someone else's product, keeping 90 to 97% of the profit. Requires deal-making ability and experience. Create a product, describe a complex concept to be engineered and manufactured. Repurpose a generic product by private labeling and customizing it, the most accessible and profitable option. Does this summary cover the key points? Let me know if you want me to clarify or expand on any summary part. Here's a summary. The tasks are: find contact information, phone, email, website, for Carol Milligan, Mark, and Julie Sekeli, and Rob Long. Schedule 30-minute interviews for the 3 people on Tim's calendar for next week. Find names, emails, and phone numbers of people in the U.S. who have negotiated remote work agreements with resistant bosses. Prioritize those who have worked outside the U.S. Please provide links to their profiles or describe why they meet the criteria. Tim apologizes that this was not a good first set of demands and takes responsibility for the issues. He outlined several mistakes. He accepted the first assistant offered instead of requesting someone highly qualified. His directions needed to be more precise. He should have specified the interviews were for an article. The assistant made incorrect assumptions. He gave the assistant too much freedom to save time. He should have requested status updates. The 1-week deadline needed to be shorter. Shorter deadlines of 48 to 72 hours are better. He assigned too many tasks without prioritizing them. Only 1 to 2 duties should be set at a time. Tim provides an example of a good task email. It includes a straightforward, specific task: find the names and emails of male magazine editors in the U.S. who have also written books. A deadline of 3 hours to report on results. A request for confirmation that the instructions are understood. Tim recommends starting small with an assistant but thinking big about the possibilities. Look for frustrating, tedious tasks and see if an assistant can handle them. Typical duties for virtual assistants include submitting articles, participating in online forums, managing affiliate programs, creating newsletters and blog posts, doing research. Wait to expect miracles immediately but push the assistant outside their comfort zone to utilize their skills fully. Be prepared to reclaim tasks that don't work out. For using an assistant to schedule appointments, options for syncing calendars include Busy Sync, Tungle, Google Calendar. The key is to check that both calendars are up to date and accurate frequently. Here's a summary of the key points. Focus on profitable niches and avoid trying to appeal to everyone. Identify a niche target market in your marketing but sell to a broader audience. Closely measure critical metrics like cost per order, ad allowable, media efficiency ratio, and customer lifetime value. This helps to manage the business effectively. Plan your distribution and pricing strategy. Make sure your margins can accommodate resellers and distributors. It may require increasing prices. Research the actual costs of different distribution channels before setting your pricing. Controlled distribution often leads to higher profitability than maximizing distribution. Choose 1 or 2 key distributors and negotiate better terms like less discounting, preferred placement, and marketing support. More customers do not necessarily mean more profit. Try to get customers and resellers to prepay instead of offering terms. This preserves your time and money as a startup. Create demand for your product so you can dictate the terms. Cite your startup economics as a reason for requiring prepayment. Use direct response advertising that can be measured for effectiveness. Ignore advice that multiple exposures are needed. Well-designed advertising often works the first time. Refrain from spending time on unprofitable customers or resellers. Apply the 80-20 rule and focus on the most profitable 20% of customers. Make non-negotiable rules to deal with non-profitable customers as needed. Work on growing your most profitable products and customer segments. Focus on strengths rather than shoring up weaknesses. Growth comes from concentrating your efforts rather than diversifying them. Does this summary cover the main highlights of the fundamental principles described? Let me know if you want me to clarify or expand on any points. Here's a summary. He prefers phone calls over emails and wants calls returned promptly when he requests. He travels frequently, so he often works late into the evening. He may only sometimes answer his phone, incredibly late at night. He requests that any purchases be approved by his head VA before proceeding. He is open to joint ventures and collaborations but only with reputable partners. He values his brand and credibility. He does not solely focus on profit-generating tasks. He also pursues opportunities that build his network, exposure, and reputation. He aims to respond to emails the same day and requests emails be filtered and priority emails labeled for his review. He prefers to delegate tasks and have confirmations that the functions were received and status updates on larger projects. His team consists primarily of himself, his publishing team, and PR representatives. He prefers calls and meetings be clustered together when possible, with defined end times and requests agendas provided in advance. Calls should last 15 to 30 minutes. Personal tasks can be scheduled on his calendar. All calendars and emails should be consistently checked and monitored. Respond to emails as executive assistant to Tim Ferris. His preferred working hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. PST, often working again from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. PST. He does not prefer to use him and will log into Skype as needed. Quick questions should be addressed by phone, not email. See the summary for specific email and scheduling instructions and preferences. He attended Princeton University. In summary, he values efficiency, credibility, and productivity. He operates on a flexible schedule but aims to respond promptly to communication and complete tasks. He relies heavily on a delegation to his virtual support team and provides specific guidance on best supporting his business and personal needs. Here's a summary. Credibility comes from media mentions, lists, and connections, not degrees or IQ. Present the truth in the best light, but don't fabricate. To get a mentor, call potential mentors, have a question ready, aim for successful people, and use a service to find contact info if needed. Call off hours to avoid gatekeepers. Ask for a short call and specific advice. Thank them and ask if you can follow up by email occasionally. To confirm a market exists, use services like Compete and Quantcast to see site traffic and search terms. Check writers' market for niche publications and their circulation. Spy for shows competitors' ad spending and keywords. Check mailing list rental services to see customer lists for sale. To find products to resell or manufacture, use affiliate networks like ClickBank to test ideas. Alibaba connects you to Chinese manufacturers. Worldwide brands and shops to offer drop shippers. Thomas Register lists U.S. manufacturers. Check trade shows for product ideas and talent. For public domain info to repackage and sell, use Project Gutenberg for ebooks and LibriVox for audiobooks. Check with a lawyer before using public domain works. To record seminars or calls to sell, use services like Hot Recorder, Call Recorder, and No Cost Conference. Use Jing Project or DimDim to record your screen for video tutorials. To license your product ideas for royalties, see InventRight to learn how. Guthy-Renker also permits products for infomercials. Search the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office site for unexploited product ideas. Check universities and inventor groups for tech to license. To become an expert, use ProfNet and help a reporter out to find media opportunities. Send press releases on PR Web to build your search ranking and credibility. Here's a summary. The author was miserable while making $70,000 per month and working extremely long hours in the business he started. He felt trapped and like a failure. He decided the only way out was to take a trip worldwide. However, he spent 6 months wrestling with fear, doubt, and embarrassment before acting. One day, he decided to define his nightmare scenario, the worst things that could happen if he took the trip. He realized the disasters he envisioned would only have a temporary impact of 3 to 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. The likelihood of them happening was very small. On the other hand, the benefits of the trip could be life-changing. He realized there was little risk and a huge potential upside. With this mindset shift, the author overcame his fears and booked a one-way ticket to Europe. None of the disasters he envisioned came to pass. The trip ended up financing itself and lasting 15 months. The author argues that fear often takes the form of optimistic denial and wishful thinking. We tell ourselves our situation will improve with time instead of taking action. Defining your nightmare scenario helps uncover the fear and see the problem rationally. The disasters we envision rarely come to pass, and even if they do, the impact is often temporary and manageable. Meanwhile, taking action can have huge benefits. The story of Jean-Marc Hatchie further illustrates this point. He volunteered in Ghana during a crisis but found that his basic needs were met, and he could survive and even thrive. He cultivated a mindset of living in the moment and realizing that most problems aren't as serious as we make them out to be. The questions at the end prompt the reader to go through a similar process of defining their nightmare scenario and worst-case doubts and fears and then determining how disastrous and likely those scenarios are, and how one could recover even if the worst did happen. The goal is to uncover fear in the form of anxiety and see that taking action will unlikely lead to permanent and unsolvable problems. In all likelihood, the benefits will far outweigh any temporary troubles. Here's a summary. The author recommends using the puppy-dog close method to discourage meetings. This involves suggesting a trial period of avoiding meetings to let people experience the benefits. For example, telling a boss, "Let's just try it once, and see how much more productive you can be without attending meetings." People are more likely to agree to a reversible trial than a permanent change. The author also recommends batching tasks to minimize wasted time on task switching and setup. It can cost the same amount of time and money to complete a small job as a large one due to fixed setup costs. For example, it may cost $310 and take a week to print 20 t-shirts, so printing just 3 t-shirts would cost the same. It's more efficient to wait and print them together. The author applied this to checking email only once a week, saving hundreds of hours. Finally, the author discusses empowerment failure, which is the inability to accomplish a task without getting permission or information from someone else. This often happens with micromanagement and customer service. The author's company was receiving 200 emails a day for customer service issues that required his input. He solved this by emailing the outsourced customer service representatives to make any judgment calls that cost less than $100 to fix. This reduced his weekly emails to fewer than 20, making the system scalable. The key recommendations are: use the puppy-dog close to discourage meetings through reversible trials, practice batching by grouping similar tasks to minimize the time waste, avoid empowerment failure by giving employees or contractors as much autonomy and information as possible to make decisions independently. Micromanaging and requiring constant input or permission could be more efficient. Here's a summary: excess of anything, even good things like possessions or leisure time, can become undesirable. Lifestyle design aims to make good use of available time, not necessarily maximize idle time. Money alone is not enough to solve life's problems or achieve happiness. Relying on money as the answer is lazy and prevents self-examination. Staying busy with work and making money can distract from life's meaninglessness. The real issues run deeper. Relative income, which considers money and time, is more important than absolute income. Someone earning a high hourly wage for a few hours of work may be better off than someone making more money overall but for many more hours. Absolute income is not the only measure of wealth or success. There are 2 types of stress: distress, which is harmful and makes one feel weak and less confident, and eustress, which is healthy and stimulates growth. Successful people avoid pain but seek out eustress. Fear of uncertainty and potential failure can be paralyzing. Defining one's fears through fear setting and facing them systematically can help overcome them. Leaving one's comfort zone exposes that risks may not be as scary once confronted. This realization creates opportunities for pursuing more meaningful life directions. Making a radical change may seem implausible to others, but it can open up life's possibilities. Throwing it all away is not always giving up but can represent an indefinite pause that allows for reassessing one's path and making corrections. The ability to pick up where one left off remains, but life's meaning may have fundamentally shifted. Here is a summary. This FAQ provides helpful information for people planning an extended trip or travel abroad. It covers practical topics from finance to culture shock. It suggests using services like 1-800-GOT-JUNK, FreeCycle, and Craigslist to eliminate clutter before leaving. The One Bag website is recommended for packing light. The CDC website provides health information for different countries. Tax planning is essential even if living abroad. The State Department website lists overseas schools. Homeschooling and unschooling are options for educating children while traveling. A currency converter and universal plug adapter are valuable tools to have. Cheap airfare websites like Orbitz, Kayak, and Sidestep are good for finding affordable international flights. Priceline and 1-800-FLY Europe can find deals. Ryanair and EasyJet offer cheap flights within Europe. For free housing, Global Freeloaders, Couchsurfing, and Hospitality Club connect travelers with local hosts. Home Exchange International facilitates home swaps. Paid options include vacation rental sites like Otalo, Hostels.com for budget hotels, Hotel Chatter for reviews, Craigslist for apartments, Interhome, and Rent Villas for longer rentals. GoToMyPK, WebEx, and VPNs provide remote access to home computers. Dropbox, SugarSync, JungleDisk, and Mozy are suitable for automatic online backups. Skype, Vonage, and Ooma offer cheap internet telephone options to stay in touch while traveling. Skype provides cheap calls to landlines and free calls to other Skype users. Vonage and Ooma connect a phone to a broadband modem. Here's a summary. The author reads to classes at his kids' school several times monthly. He drives his kids to and from school so he can be very involved in their daily lives, which he finds invaluable. Without realizing it, people in his community treated him with admiration and respect, even confusing him for a doctor or millionaire just because he had the time to be so involved with his family and community. He was nominated for and elected to leadership roles in the PTA and local club. He now has more opportunities than ever, and while he technically has enough free time to watch movies all day, he chooses to spend his time on meaningful activities like volunteering at his church, writing a book to help others become virtual employees like him, and being highly involved with his family and community. Here's a summary. The author won a gold medal in Chinese kickboxing through unconventional techniques, cutting weight drastically to fight smaller opponents and pushing opponents out of the ring, which was allowed within the rules. While controversial, he sees it as doing the uncommon within the rules and pushing the boundaries of the sport to evolve it, just as Dick Fosbury did for the high jump with his Fosbury flop technique. The author proposes several rules for successful NR and non-retirement lifestyles. View retirement planning as worst-case scenario insurance, not the goal. Retirement needs to be revised as a goal. Interest and energy are cyclical. Take mini retirements instead of saving enjoyment for retirement. Doing less meaningless work is not laziness. Focus on productivity over busyness. The timing always needs to be corrected. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Just start and correct the course. Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Try things and then justify them. It's easier to get approval after the fact. Emphasize strengths, don't fix weaknesses. Focus on leveraging strengths rather than fixing weaknesses. Things in excess become their opposite. Too much of anything takes on the opposite characteristics. The summary outlines the author's unconventional path to success in kickboxing and the rules he has developed from his experiences leading a lifestyle focused on productivity, enjoyment, and minimizing excessive work or rest. The overarching themes are breaking the rules when the rules don't make sense, focusing on strengths, taking action rather than waiting, and achieving balance. Here's a summary. The author recommends packing lightly for extended travel. He suggests bringing the bare essentials, about a week's worth of clothing, copies of important documents, cash, cards, a bike lock, reference materials, and a travel guide. This settling fund approach allows travelers to purchase necessary items at their destination. The author argues that overpacking is unnecessary and that traveling light provides more mental space and clarity. To prepare for a mini retirement, the author recommends, evaluate your assets, income, and expenses to determine what can be eliminated. Using the fear-setting approach to evaluate worst-case scenarios of a mini-retirement and alleviate concerns. Choosing a location for your mini-retirement. The author recommends either choosing a starting point and wandering until you find a place you like or scouting a region and settling into your favorite spot. He warns against dangerous locations and recommends places like Argentina, China, Japan, England, Ireland, Thailand, Germany, Norway, Australia, New Zealand, Italy, Spain, and Holland. Preparing for your trip over 3 months. Eliminate excess belongings by eliminating 80% of what you don't use often. Get rid of things that create stress or cost money to maintain. Consider selling expensive items to finance your trip. Automate bill payments, move belongings into storage, deal with health insurance and home/apartment lease. Ask yourself how you would accomplish things if you had a gun to your head. Book tickets and accommodations for your first stop. Make copies of important documents. Optional. Throw a going-away party. Tell close friends and family about your trip plans and contact details. The key is to plan and prepare thoroughly to ensure a successful mini-retirement. You can embark on your journey with minimal stress and baggage by simplifying your life and alleviating concerns beforehand. Here's a summary. The author wants to share how to achieve a millionaire lifestyle without needing $1 million. He argues that most people don't want to be millionaires, they want the lifestyle and experiences they believe $1 million can buy, such as travel and freedom. The author went from working 14-hour days and earning $40,000 per year to 4-hour weeks and $40,000 monthly. He achieved this through a process he calls the DEAL method. D is for definition. This involves redefining assumptions, like the idea that you must work for 40+ years to fund your lifestyle. The author introduces concepts like relative wealth and eustress. E is for elimination. This step eliminates the idea of traditional time management. The author shows how he cut 12-hour workdays to 2 hours in just 48 hours using techniques like selective ignorance and limiting information intake. This step provides the first ingredient for lifestyle design, time. A is for automation. This step puts income on autopilot using outsourcing, geography arbitrage, and rule-setting methods. This provides the second ingredient, income. L is for liberation. This step focuses on freeing yourself from location dependence. The author discusses concepts like mini-retirements and remote control. This provides the third ingredient, mobility. In summary, the deal method and its ingredients of time, income, and mobility provide a recipe for achieving a luxury lifestyle design without millions in the bank. By redefining assumptions, eliminating inefficiencies, automating payment, and embracing mobility, the author argues you can experience the rewards of a life's work without waiting until retirement. The concepts may seem impossible, but the author challenges the reader to test them with an open and experimental mindset. Here's a summary. Nomadic lifestyles now offer more prosperous educational opportunities than staying in one place, thanks to online resources. Families on the road can access online courses, interactive lessons via Skype, e-libraries, and other digital tools. This challenges the outdated notion that third-culture kids need more stability and opportunities. The author's 8-year-old daughter takes an online course from Johns Hopkins University and has learned Spanish through immersion in Spain. Local amenities and digital connections have allowed her a varied, high-quality education on the road. After a car crash caused by exhaustion from his investment banking job, the author read the 4-Hour Workweek and created an online business to escape his unsustainable career. He started a blog, sold an interview guide, and offered consulting services, all while staying anonymous at his job. Within a year, he replaced his former salary, increased his hours, and gained the freedom to travel frequently. Inspired by the 4-Hour Workweek, another reader quit his government job, sold his house, and traveled to Australia in an RV with his young family for 3 months. He wrote an ebook and developed software for electrical engineers, outsourcing the complicated work. Within a month, his automated site generated half his former income, allowing him to continue traveling the world. A final reader researched remote work opportunities, set concrete goals, and told friends she planned to move to Argentina after being inspired by the 4-Hour Workweek. Despite skepticism, she took daily action to achieve her goal within a year. Life changes that seemed unrealistic to others became possible by steadily ignoring doubt and advancing each day. In summary, the stories show how digital nomadism, online business, remote work, and goal setting have empowered each person to gain freedom and adventure after reading the 4-Hour Workweek. They prove that families, seemingly unrealistic goals, and former careers do not have to limit life changes. Progress happens through small daily steps to overcome obstacles and build new realities. Here's a summary. The contributor describes an hourglass approach to negotiating remote work. You first take an extended period off, working remotely, to prove you can be productive. Then you use this experience to negotiate a shorter-term remote agreement. Finally, you work your way back up to your desired level of remote work. The steps in the hourglass approach are: plan a project or event that requires time off and propose working remotely during that time instead of taking paid time off. Offer a temporary pay cut if productivity isn't up to par. Collaborate with your boss on how to work remotely so they feel invested in the process. Be highly productive during the initial extended remote period. Show quantifiable results and propose 2 to 3 days per week of remote work as a trial. Be ultra-productive on remote days. Suggest decreasing in-office days to 1 to 2 days per week. Make the in-office days your least productive. Suggest complete mobility. The boss will likely agree if the previous steps have gone well. The contributor also suggests questions and actions to take to negotiate remote work, such as, figure out how you could work remotely in an emergency. Use that scenario to determine how to make your everyday work remote compatible. Put yourself in your boss's shoes. Would you trust yourself to work remotely based on your work history? If not, take steps to improve your productivity and accountability. Practice working remotely on weekends to build discipline. Document your current productivity and achievements in quantifiable terms. Look for an opportunity to demonstrate your ability to work remotely before formally proposing it as a policy. Practice negotiating to overcome objections. Use questions to get past no. Propose a trial of 1 day per week of remote work, then extend the trial period over time as it's successful. Be prepared to leave your job if you're ultimately unable to achieve your desired level of remote work. The world is too big to spend most of your life in a cubicle. The contributor and commenters suggest services and tools enabling a remote lifestyle, like virtual mailbox scanning, electronic check processing, quick-dry travel clothing, and portable sound machines. The contributor recommends specific products for families with young children to make travel easier. Here's a summary. Dave is an employee who began taking work calls at home in the office. He took a 1-week trip to China, where he proposed to his girlfriend, Shamay. They married, and he continued working remotely, Forwarding calls to Shumei's phone. Dave's company, HP, didn't notice he was working remotely. He started spending 2 months each summer in China, then added travel to Australia and Europe. Dave asked for forgiveness rather than permission to work remotely and said people should ask themselves, why the hell not? Travel and work remotely. The old rich were tied to one place, but the new rich had mobility and traveled frequently. This is possible not just for freelancers but also for employees. Companies like Best Buy are having thousands of employees work remotely, reporting cost savings and productivity increases. In Japan, people are increasingly escaping the salaryman lifestyle of long work hours in an office. To get permission to work remotely, show the business benefit, and make it difficult for management to refuse. Sherwood, an engineer, doubled his productivity by eliminating time wasters. He set up a trial period of working remotely 1 day per week, showing how much extra he achieved and proposing to increase it to 2 days per week. After 2 weeks, Sherwood showed increased productivity and asked to increase the remote days to 4 per week, willing to compromise to 3. His boss worried Sherwood was on his way out and that other employees would want the same treatment. Here's a summary. Benefits of Expert Click appear at the top of related Google News and Yahoo News results. Put up an expert profile for the media to see. Receive an up-to-date database of top media contacts. Send free press releases to 12,000 journalists. Over 5 million hits per month. Useful for getting media exposure and landing TV opportunities. The key benefits are improving search engine ranking, gaining media exposure, and reaching many journalists and contacts. Here's a summary of the key points. Summarize customer questions in subject lines for indexing. Personally pack and ship products to determine the cheapest shipping options. Open a merchant account with a small local bank to process credit cards. Add an FAQ to your website and continue adding to it. Find local fulfillment companies and narrow down to those without fees and minimums. Limit to those who can respond to emails/calls about order status. Provide email templates for them to use. Have products shipped directly to a fulfillment company once shipping over 20 units/week. You can afford more. Prominent fulfillment companies. Set up a merchant account and credit card processing first. Optionally set up an account with a call center. They recommend test the call center thoroughly before signing on. Offer fewer options, 1 to 2, to reduce complexity and increase revenue. Don't offer multiple shipping options, just one fast premium option. Don't offer overnight or expedited shipping. Eliminate phone orders and direct all customers to order online. Don't offer international shipments due to hassle and low profitability. Reevaluate your customers and avoid bad customers. See customers as equal trading partners, not as people to please at all costs. Prevent problem customers from ordering in the first place. Don't accept Western Union checks or money orders as payment to avoid problematic customers. Raise wholesale minimums and require tax ID to avoid unprofitable resellers. Refer resellers to an online forum and don't negotiate to price. Offer low-priced products instead of free products. Offer a lose-win guarantee instead of free trials. Here's a summary. The key points from the passage are: define a to-do list and a not-to-do list to have more time. Identify and eliminate the 20% of activities causing 80% of problems and unhappiness. Also, identify and focus on 20% of actions resulting in 80% of desired outcomes. Ask yourself hypothetical questions to determine what's important if you have little time to work, like only 2 hours a day or a week. This helps cut out unnecessary tasks. Determine the top 3 activities you use to fill time and feel productive but avoid important work. Eliminate them. Determine which 20% of people cause 80% of your enjoyment and progress and spend more time with them. Also, determine which 20% of people cause 80% of your distress and spend less time with them. Don't be afraid to fire some friends. Ask yourself if you'd be satisfied with your day if you only accomplish the current task. Focus on 1 to 2 critical tasks per day. Use reminders to ask if you're inventing unimportant things to do to avoid important work. Don't multitask. Focus on one thing at a time. Use Parkinson's law to accomplish more in less time. Shorten deadlines and take more time off to increase focus. Propose solutions instead of just asking for opinions. Make decisions instead of endless back and forths. The key is focusing your time and efforts on the essential things that move the needle while eliminating unnecessary tasks, excessive busyness, and unproductive relationships. Increase your effectiveness by reducing wasted time and energy. Here's a summary. The author, Tim Ferris, explains that this updated edition of the book is not a replacement for the original but an improvement by fixing typos and minor errors. Though some things have changed in the world, the core principles and techniques in the book still work for designing one's lifestyle. The book is for anyone who wants to live life on their terms instead of postponing it for retirement. It provides various paths for different comfort levels, from using tricks to escape the office to building hands-free businesses. The examples range from a young Lamborghini owner to a single mother who traveled the world with her 2 kids. One does not need to quit their job, be a risk-taker, be born rich, be young, or have an Ivy League degree to design their lifestyle. The author himself worked since age 14 and came from a middle-income family. The author shares how he went from being an overworked and underpaid office worker to joining the new rich who create luxury lifestyles in the present using time and mobility. He aims to show readers how to bend reality to their will through a set of uncommon rules and using technology. He argues that life does not have to be complex and challenging, as most people have convinced themselves. The book provides an alternative to resignedly working 9-to-5 jobs for the occasional relaxed weekends and short vacations. The summary reflects the overall message and highlights essential points on what the book is about, who it is for, the author's journey and philosophy, and the promise to readers. The language and coherence could be further improved with transitional phrases between ideas, but the fundamental concepts are captured. Here is a summary. Most people do not achieve their goals due to fear of failure or unrealistic expectations of difficulty. Performing bigger, unrealistic goals is psychologically easier than small, realistic ones. Unrealistic goals provide motivation and determination to overcome obstacles. Realistic goals do not inspire and motivate in the same way. Do not overestimate the competition, and underestimate yourself. Most people need more confidence in their abilities and set better goals. It is less competitive to achieve bigger goals. Ask yourself, what would excite me? Rather than what do I want? Or what are my goals? Happiness is fleeting, but excitement is sustaining. The opposite of happiness is boredom, not sadness. Chase excitement. Do not become realistic, give up dreaming as you age. Maintain a sense of adventure and set exciting goals to avoid adult onset adventure deficit disorder. Do not let others dictate what is realistic for you. The students could not complete the challenge because they overestimated the difficulty and competition. They made excuses instead of even attempting it. Some responded the following year by embracing doing the unrealistic and achieving the goal. Setting unrealistic goals is psychologically more accessible. It is essential to set specific and actionable goals. Broad questions like "what do you want?" are too vague to produce a meaningful response. Define the desired result and work backward from there. In summary, dream big, set exciting and ambitious goals, do not overestimate obstacles, and only become realistic if others tell you to. Chase happiness through adventure and new experiences, not material gains. Specificity in goals and desired outcomes is critical. The unrealistic is more achievable than you expect. Here's a summary: the employee is working extremely hard and producing good results. However, their effort could be better directed and more efficient. To improve, the employee should focus on the critical 20% of tasks that produce 80% of the results, the Pareto principle. This will make them more effective and productive. Eliminate the 80% of unproductive tasks that create little value. This will free up more time for meaningful work. Negotiate with their company to work remotely and get a raise by demonstrating their increased productivity and value. This will give the employee more leverage and control over their work environment. For entrepreneurs, focus on the 20% of customers that drive 80% of revenue. Drop or minimize time spent on unprofitable customers. This boosts productivity and profitability. Don't confuse activity and productivity. Just working long hours, 9-to-5 schedule, does not mean you are being productive. Focus on results and impact, not face time. Don't accept client disrespect or let them diminish your self-esteem. Fire toxic customers if needed to reduce stress and unhappiness. Money is not worth enduring abuse. In summary, the key to multiplying your productivity is the 80-20 principle and a ruthless elimination of distractions, unproductive tasks, and sources of unhappiness. Replace a culture of face time and quantity with one focused on quality, priorities, and actual results. Success comes from doing the right things, not just keeping busy. Eliminate to multiply your productivity and happiness. Here's a summary: the author initially thought about teaching English in Argentina to make a living. However, he wanted to continue working remotely for his current company. A book gave him the confidence to believe this was possible, even though everyone around him thought it was impossible. He wrote up a proposal and presented it to his boss against everyone's advice. If his boss rejected the proposal, he had enough savings to live in Argentina for 6 months. He was determined to live a happier, more accessible life with less work and more time for himself. Despite the odds, he took a risk and had faith in himself. To his surprise, his boss accepted the proposal and was eager to discuss the details. He moved to Argentina in September 2008 and has lived there for 6 months. He works 5 to 10 hours weekly and focuses more on working alone. He has a Spanish tutor, friends to practice with, goes to the gym and yoga, eats healthier, and has more time to pursue his goals. His advice is to ignore the advice of loved ones sometimes to make things happen. If you believe the impossible is possible, it will happen. The author is a 37-year-old Subway franchisee who used to be addicted to work for work's sake. The 4-hour workweek allowed him to change this and view his business as a product meant to provide income for maximum enjoyment and schedule flexibility. He crunched his schedule to 20 hours over 4 days, took Mondays off, worked 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. the other days, and filtered everything through the 80-20 rule. He killed autosync on his email and used an autoresponder. He keeps a compact to-do list and calendar for time-bound tasks. His self-awareness came when his daughter told her teacher, "My dad just sits around and watches Star Wars all day." He realized she meant he did whatever he wanted. He used the book's techniques to achieve inbox zero, reduce meetings and calls, and get permission to work remotely 4 days a week. This allowed him to be more hands-on at home. He started working at home 1 to 2 days a week, increasing to 4 days a week, and became a model for others during a gas shortage. He has more time with his family and volunteers at his daughter's school. Here's a summary. The 4-hour workweek was rejected by 26 out of 27 publishers before it was finally accepted. Even then, the initial print run was small due to low expectations. After its release, the book ended up becoming a sleeper hit. On May 2, 2007, Tim Ferris got a call that the book hit the New York Times bestseller list. The book has sold in over 35 languages and has been on bestseller lists for over 2 years. The lifestyle design movement has spread around the world. This expanded and updated edition contains over 100 pages of new content, including readers' latest technologies, resources, and real-world success stories. The book features stories from various people, including families, students, CEOs, and professional travelers. There are templates and examples for negotiating remote work, taking a year off to travel, and more. The Experiments in Lifestyle Design blog launched with the book and became one of the top 1,000 blogs in the world within 6 months. Readers have shared many tools, tricks, and stories of results. The blog serves as a real-world laboratory for the concepts in the book. The new Best of the Blog section includes some of the most popular posts from the Experiments in Lifestyle Design blog. The blog itself contains many recommendations and resources for readers. The key message is that the book far exceeded initial expectations and has led to a widespread global movement. This new edition aims to share the latest wisdom and real-world success stories from readers who have implemented the concepts. Book link, click here.